Okay, Marissa, can you tell us about what problem you were having before coming to Advantage Health Group?
Yes, so I had a lot of lower back pain and hip problems before coming to Advantage Health.
When did that start?
It started probably when I was 12 or 13 years old, and got worse through my teenage years, and it's just been persistent through my 20s.
What did that frustration feel like with that low back pain?
It was loss of focus mostly. I just found myself like paying way more attention to that than the friends that I was hanging out with, the sport that I was playing at the time, and just like a lot of concern over what I could or couldn't do. And it just took away from my daily living.
Yeah. How hard was that as a collegiate athlete?
It wasn't very fun, I'll tell you that. As a collegiate athlete, you just want to focus on your next game, focus on your next practice. And when you have debilitating back pain and you can't practice, it takes a piece of your life that is a priority at that time. So it's extremely frustrating.
Yeah. And how about after college was over, like trying to get through day-to-day life?
It still continued. The back pain never went away. The frustration never went away. If anything, it grew because it should be over with when you're done playing sports, but it's not. It still lingers. And it just got to the point of, okay, this is my life now. Okay, like this is what we're gonna do.
Yeah. That's really tough. What did you know that was different about Advantage Health Group from all the other providers that you've seen, from medical doctors, PTs, and other people?
Sure. So first off, I met the doctors through a mutual friend. So it was a little bit more personable that way anyway. It wasn't as like clinical. But as I got to know them and they knew my injury and how that injury formed and my history of the present illness and everything like that, it was just very personable, and like they cared about what my daily life looked like, not just what my back looked like and what my x-rays looked like. They cared about what I felt like during the day.
Awesome, thank you. Let's take us to that moment, Marissa, where you realized that our treatments were actually working to solve your pain.
Okay, there was kind of two moments that I knew that the treatment was really working well. The first one was after a long day. I worked out in the morning and then I worked on my feet the whole day, and I knew that I was exhausted and I just needed a good night's sleep, and I knew that I wasn't gonna get a good night's sleep because I'm usually tossing and turning at the end of the night, or at the end of the day, because of my back pain. And I laid down and I fell right asleep, and I didn't have any pain, and I wasn't laying up just thinking about how bad it felt. I fell asleep right away. That was the first time, and that was probably after the second week of treatment, maybe first or second. And then the second time was when I stood up in office after you guys had worked on a specific capsule. There's one motion that I've done for years and years and years that's always irritated my back, and I stood up, and that was the first time that I didn't have that. And it was kind of a weird like sensation because I'd had so much trauma to my body, and I felt like all the trauma physically and like a little bit emotionally was like gone, and it was just like this big release, I guess.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Awesome. Okay, Marissa, go ahead and tell us what does life look like now that your back pain is almost completely gone after dealing with it for years?
It looks good. I mean, you can't really obviously tell, but there's little things like I'm working on my feet all day long and I'm not constantly adjusting and moving around or stretching. I go to sleep easier at night. I drive easier. I'm not constantly shifting in my seat. It's subtle, but like my focus is there. Like I talked about earlier with being in a room with friends, I can focus on what my friends are saying rather than sitting on a hard bench at a sporting event, stuff like that. It's pretty great.
Awesome. Life's exciting again.
Life is pretty good again.
Awesome.